The best defensive player ever? That might just be Victor Wembanyama. Hailing from France, he's had one of the greatest impacts on the defensive end in the league, with the Spurs ranking first in the league with him on the floor and bottom 5 in the league with him off the floor. It's clear that his impact this season has been second to none on the defensive end. In today's clips, we're going to go over what makes him so impactful and how he changes the Spurs and makes them into a totally different team, and hopefully we can soon see him on a winning team. In this first clip right here, he's against the Minnesota Timberwolves. Now, the Timberwolves are uniquely positioned with two big men in Karl-Anthony Towns and Anthony Edwards, along with Rudy Gobert. Rudy Gobert specifically with Karl-Anthony Towns provide a different type of matchup for Victor Wembanyama because he has two 7-footers that essentially he's guarding here. And that's why right now the Spurs have Collins out here and they also have Victor Wembanyama out here, two 7-footers to guard them. But Collins isn't the best at defense and really has been lackluster in his defensive performance this season. It's really been Victor Wembanyama making up for it with his amazing playmaking ability. Right here, you see Rudy Gobert getting the post up. And one of the biggest complaints that people had about Victor before he came from overseas was that he wasn't going to be able to guard large centers. Rudy Gobert is probably the epitome of a large center. Although he has no skills around the basket like somebody like Joel Embiid, he still weighs well over 250 pounds and is just a big foreign dude. You'd think he should be able to easily push Victor Wembanyama into the basket and get an easy dunk or easy lay-in attempt, even though he might not be the most skilled big in the world. It seems like that's exactly what he tries to do here by backing Victor down. They quickly send a double team right here, but this probably isn't the smartest double team from Collins because right here we have Karl-Anthony Towns wide open from three-point land, and he's one of the best big man three-point shooters in the league. He grabs the ball right here. It's not the best pass in the world, and so it causes him to jump up a little bit. What you see here is Victor is still kind of, parading around the paint and realizes, oh wait, my defense is now in rotation here. We have kind of like a scrum right here. Sohan's up here. We have Collins right here. Really, nobody kind of knows what's going on. It looks like Cat's going to get right by them or get fouled right here. But Victor realizes that Rudy Gobert is he's no threat from the mid-range. He's not a very good mid-range shooter. So he tries to commit to potentially blocking Cat. And Cat kind of does this step through. And I think this is what makes Victor Wembanyama the next level defender. Anytime somebody starts to do the 1, 2, 3 Euro step, Victor tracks the ball and is able to get the ball and basically snatch it out of their hands. And it's kind of incredible what he does right here with Karl-Anthony Towns. He just slams that ball basically like he's slamming pancakes on someone's plate and just slams the ball and so that they get a transition opportunity right off the bat. And that's really what makes him different, the ability to have that rim protection that is just elite and different, something that even Rudy Gobert on the Minnesota Timberwolves doesn't provide. Right here, it seems like they're running a play for Mike Conley out on the wing. It seems like there's pretty good ball denial right here, and Rudy Gobert isn't able to get the pass out here to Mike Conley. And so Rudy Gobert is left on Victor Wembanyama, basically in an ISO situation. As we play the clip a little bit more here, it seems like the Timberwolves' plan was to essentially isolate Rudy Gobert on Victor Wembanyama. They clearly thought in the scouting report that Rudy Gobert's size should be able to match up well against somebody like Victor Wembanyama, and being that these two players are overseas and actually do know each other pretty well, I'm pretty sure Rudy Gobert probably asked for a couple of possessions in isolation on Victor Wembanyama to show him what he has. Right here, he kind of backs him down, does a little bit of a spin move. Victor doesn't really seem to buy it at all. He knows that he's going to go to the rim. He's not going to do a step back. And right here, just a beautiful block. Rudy Gobert extends his hand all the way right here. The ball is about right here. Victor manages to block this ball before it even hits the backboard and deflect it. And this is on a guy who probably weighs at least 20, 25 more pounds on him. And he's only a rookie. And he's already doing amazing stuff like this, which is just awesome to see that the future of the NBA is so bright in somebody who's not only good at the offensive end, but an elite defender. Now in this play right here, it's going to feature Victor Wembanyama's rim protection and his ability to match up versus the guards. After all, the last two clips really showcased his ability to guard a big like Rudy Gobert and somebody who is good around the rim and a lot heavier than him. Right here we have Victor Wembanyama, who's essentially positioned in the paint to guard anything and everything that comes in here. Specifically, if Chet Holmgren were to come in here, it seems like he's kind of the roll man tagger and is supposed to guard the rim, while Collins is essentially allowed to play a drop coverage for the Spurs. Jalen Williams drives down here and splits the double team. It's a very popular move lately too. Whenever the screen is here and Jalen Williams goes over here, he essentially goes back this way to make it so that the drop coverage is a little bit behind, and we have number 30 here on the side of Jalen Williams. And so he's not in the best position to essentially close him out and make sure that the big man doesn't have a tough time. So he's able to easily get to the rim. But right here, Victor Wembanyama, when he's going up for the shot, Victor Wembanyama's still on the ground. You'd think, okay, there's no way he's going to block this shot. There's no way he can really help contest. But Victor, all he really needs to do is just put a hand up, and he blocks the shot. And that's what makes him next level, I think, is that he doesn't need to jump to contest these shots versus guards. He just needs to put a hand up there, and that's what makes him so incredible as a defender. He can just put his hand up against somebody like J-Dub, and he's easily able to block the shot. That's also really shown here versus maybe one of the most crafty finishers in the league in Kyrie Irving. Right here even, Victor Wembanyama seems to be cross-matched right here with somebody like Tim Hardaway Jr., a great three-point shooter, and he's allowed to give him so much space just because of the length that Victor Wembanyama possesses. Essentially, he can close out from the paint to any three-point shooter that has a sort of long shooting form. And somebody like Steph Curry maybe steps a couple steps inward, but for the most part, he can basically roam in the paint when he's guarding somebody like Tim Hardaway Jr., who's in the past has been one of the better three-point shooters in the league, and he's able to clog up the lane. And I just want you to look at this clip right here. In a normal NBA shot, that's an easy bucket for Kyrie Irving. It's contested, but it's an easy bucket. But Victor, he is so long, he barely needs to jump off the ground in this clip right here, and he manages to block a guard like Kyrie Irving straight up, which is just incredible. His ability to not only defend a three-point shooter by standing in the paint, which is incredible in itself, but also to help on that drive against one of the most crafty finishers in the league in Kyrie Irving, who has a bag full of moves. It makes him just an incredible defender, and who I think should be the defensive player of the year. All right, in this last clip right here, we're going to see Victor Wembanyama in transition. We have a pass right here to Jabari Smith, and Jabari Smith seems to be going up straight for the dunk. It looks like, oh, this is a highlight of Jabari Smith Jr. He's about to dunk on Victor Wembanyama. Once again, we still have Victor. He's ground bound. He's barely getting his hands up. He's in no position to contest this ball. But right here, he jumps just a little bit, and he gets a full palm on that ball that Jabari Smith Jr. tried to yam right into the basket. And it's just an incredible job by somebody like Victor Wembanyama. He's able to block a shot that most players would never think of blocking in the first place. Second, if they did try to block it, they'd often foul. And third, they wouldn't be able to actually help out right after here and block him once again. That's 2 blocks on one play, which is just incredible. His effort, his tenacity, his ability as a rookie to block shots around the rim without fouling, it's just incredible. Honestly, the Warriors probably hope that James Wiseman turned into this, but Victor Wembanyama is clearly a generational player. If you guys liked our defensive breakdown on Victor Wembanyama, please like, subscribe, and comment below if you guys would like more content just like this.